really good.
Yeah.
And Ian will still have oversight of what we do, particularly architecturally, but that's something I think that Ola and I will manage with Ian. So we'll check in with him regularly. So yeah, I think things will shift a bit. Alexandra will be more involved now, and Ian will probably step back a bit, but still have oversight of everything that's happening. So if there are, I know that there are. There's communication with Ian at the moment. That's completely fine. I know that there are various issues being discussed, but what I would say is we will now be involving Alexandra much more in any of those conversations.
Okay, Kath.
Okay. So, Kalpana, I suggested that we structure the review today by looking first at any work that hasn't been completed.
Yes.
So questions that remain from the team particularly. And then I realized that there are some tasks that have been completed I haven't had a chance to accept yet because we need to, I think it's great what you've suggested for UAT. So I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, we'll walk through those together. And then we can look ahead to the stories for the next sprint and the designs, she says, looking at Jag. So does that work for you?
Yes, Kath, absolutely.
Brilliant.
We'll start with the ones that are not yet moved for UAT and waiting for your confirmation. Let me look. This 384. Yeah. So over to QAs for explaining the.
I think we've lost you guys. Can you hear anything? Oh, I think you're back.
Yeah, we can.
Kill my camera. Yeah, you're cutting it out a bit. We seem to be able to hear you again now.
Okay.
Hi, Kath.
Hi.
The first one is 384, and this issue was raised for this spacing issue for this header and the text below the header. Okay, but currently they have fixed that. But for different screen resolutions, we are seeing this issue for the button below the registration ID and date of birth. That find candidate score button is there, no? So spacing between the button and the footer was not consistent on all screen resolutions.
Okay.
So this for this we need a design to have a separate document to make sure how many line spacing should be there between the button and the footer.
Okay, and we're finding that that's not consistent on all screens?
Yeah.
Okay, understood. These are screenshots. Can we actually go and have a look at the site?
We didn't attach the screenshot for the different resolutions here.
No, she wants to see it in the site.
Oh, okay.
Is it exit in the QA environment? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Managers.
Yeah, here we can find this page only. Here we can see the one single line spacing between the button and the footer. And if you change the screen resolution, can you change the screen resolution?
Just a minute, Kath.
Sure.
Yeah. should be changed. I am not sure.
Okay, just explain what is.
So the issue is like if we are opening this site in a screen where width is more and height is also more. In comparison to width, height is more. So the spacing between this button and the footer is a bit extended. So we just need a confirmation like how much space should be there
For different screen sizes.
for different screen sizes and which are the resolution we are supporting.
Okay. So I think this relates to the NFRs, which I finally retrieved from the previous stage of the project. So I think what we need to do is update those non-functional requirements, but also include information on resolution. So which resolutions, which screen sizes, and then how do the designs adapt to those screen sizes, I guess. So it sounds like that's a job for us to do, myself and Jag. Kalpana and Alexandra, I'd also like to talk to both of you about the NFRs I have as well, so we can collectively agree them, and that should give us a bit more direction. So
Okay,
I think there's
sure.
I think there's a task in the next sprint then for us to do this, to confirm the resolution.
Okay.
Okay. Can you just go to the next story?
So 447 or
Yeah.
447.
Kath, the 447 story. For this, the design has been provided for us, but we need a clarification on the design. Actually, they didn't have included the tooltips on the design. How the tooltip should be displayed for all the. So can you see in the screenshot? If you go for the tooltip, no, it's moving it's moving below the screen display.
It's moving.
Oh, that's really hard to see. Let me just. I'm just going to make my screen a bit bigger. Oh, that doesn't work. Can you guys? Oh, that's perfect. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it should appear above the name of the site. But I'll provide them with a design to show where it should be.
Excellent. So Jag will provide a design showing the position of the tooltip, and then we can put that as a separate story in the next sprint.
Yeah. Okay, Kath. Do we need to follow up this design in the same Jira, or we have to create a new one for the next sprint?
I wonder if we can just use the same story and just mark it as not finished in this sprint. Do you think that makes sense? Then we can just, rather than create a new story, that seems a bit.
Okay.
I'd rather keep the one we have, I think. And I think what we should do then is for these two, we should take them into the next sprint.
But
and then we can just add more information.
sorry to interrupt, Kat, but the designs were not present, so and hence we did not implement it. So should we descope it and then have it in the next sprint, or have it as a spillover, Kat?
I don't really mind what we do. I think the main thing is that we just need to, we need to put this into the next sprint. So I don't really mind how we do it. We can create a new story, a new task. I'm fine to close that story because we didn't have the design absolutely. So we'll just have an improvement story in the next sprint.
Okay, Kat.
Okay.
Okay, and what is the next one? Only 2 questions we had. Okay, and these are the open questions we had, Kat. And moving on to the finished ones, let's start with the spike. Opening 511. So over to Vinod.
This is regarding updating of user role from site admin to score report user and vice versa. And we have analyzed and we have said the current I included Eon as well in this email thread.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So yeah, for now, we are not able to, get the login user ID from the backend. Hence, right now we don't have any approach to get the, logged in user ID. Without logged in user ID, we will not be able to get the role of the user, and we won't be able to restrict the request.
Okay, so let me just catch Alexandra up on this. So Ola, this is about what happens when a system admin or a site admin changes the role of a user. So they might be score report user and they are changed to site admin or vice versa. They're either getting...
Sorry. To site admin. Okay.
Yeah.
Not
they're
possible to change role to Pearson system administrator.
There are three roles. There's a Pearson system admin, there's a site admin who's related to an institution, and site admins can exist at different levels of the hierarchy, and there's score report user.
And site admin was implemented in the current sprint, right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
So we have a story which is about editing a site admin, and that would include being able to edit their role, because that's part of the edit user or create user. And there are different ways we could handle this. My concern was that if we edited the role of a site admin to be score report user, that they don't have access to users for an indefinite amount of time, because their permissions have actually been reduced. So one way I was originally thinking this could be done is that the user gets logged out. Ian was not happy with that. He suggested that actually what you want is to, the next time that user tries to do anything, they receive, they're blocked, and they receive, if they tried to access manage users and they've been deprecated to a score report user, and they try to access other users, manage users, they receive some kind of notification that, they can't access.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is like easier to do.
Yeah, but it does depend on us having information on the ID and the role, and that's the exchange that has been happening between Vinod and Ian in this particular thread. And I think what we're hearing is that we don't have access to all the information we should do. Is that right, Vinod?
Yes, Kat.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I just need to look into the story. I would need to look into the code. So if this story will be taken to the next sprint, we can have a discussion on that. I will be happy to help.
So this is a spike, and the analysis has been completed from our end.
Yeah.
Ola, this is a spike, and we have done the analysis from our end.
So we know. Okay, so it makes sense then that we have the analysis. So I guess from your point of view, Kalpana, you've completed that.
Yeah.
So then it now needs Alexandra to look into it, and we will add a new story when we know more.
Yes, Kat.
Sounds good. Okay, so that's a nice task for you, Ola.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think there's an Apogee link as well here, Ola. That's what Ian was suggesting. So that's another thing to look at.
You want to explain this?
I see.
So moving on to the ones that are under ready for UAT. Message. This is a task. Yes.
The 435, it's a correct error message should be displayed.
I've accepted this. I think.
Come down.
Have I not? Maybe I haven't. Pretty sure I thought I had, but maybe not.
No, it's not accepted.
No, it's not at.
Okay, let's have a look at it just in case. I had a feeling I looked at this one yesterday. One thing I would say, guys, and this will just save you some time, is don't worry about attaching screenshots, because I will always go into QA. So I'll just look at the acceptance criteria, go into QA and test against those. So there's no need to add screenshots. Just let me know that something is ready for UAT. Unless there's a particular thing you want to draw my attention to, in which case then do add a screenshot. Please contact. I help. So yep. So that's accepted. I'm going to add an improvement story. Sorry, I should have. I don't know why that didn't go through because I thought I'd commented that was accepted. I'm going to add an improvement story to either the next sprint or one after, because once we've confirmed where the help site is, we should add a URL to that modal. So, but we can do that as a separate story. I've got a placeholder for that already. Yep.
This is a different one. So reproduce. You can go ahead with the next one.
Okay, this one is creating a new system admin.
Okay, so this is a big one.
The first scenario we have tested is how to access all the list of created system admins. We have only one system, currently only one system admin provided to us as admin. So we have used admin user login ID and we have created multiple system admins. The second scenario, to complete a form to create a new system admin. It's a positive flow. So we have created. So as I already told, we have already created a new system administrator. Now we have able to input our field validations to the system admins. And then we have able to see the created system admin in the system admin list. And moving to the next scenario, and as we have already created a system admin and we have given an input wrong error messages and invalid inputs, so we are able to share all the wrong error messages, and we have validated all the fields in the create user page. And the next scenario is the without saving the data, and we have to move back to the create user page, and it's the data was not saved.
The demo in the site.
Yeah. So Kat just will show the demo of that particular story. So just I'm logged in as a system admin user. Now I'm going to system admin list, wherein I'll be able to see all the test users just been created by us. And
okay, let me pause on that. Let's just pause on that for a minute. So this is our system admin list. We've got the ability to sort by last name. We can see the username, the role, and we've got the ability to edit. Jag, happy?
So let me go ahead and create a new system admin and just see how it's working.
I was just giving Jag a bit of time to have a look at it too, because obviously we just make sure that the designs are implemented.
The create system admin button is a bit out of place.
Yeah, the create system admin button looks a little bit too close to the bar, guys.
Yeah, regarding this, not only for this page, if you see for manage users, like let me show that. So manage institutions, we see this page, and if you go to that view users page and see over here, and
quite a lot of inconsistency, don't we? I think
great. So all the user pages, there should be some consistency throughout the site, not only that particular system admin page. About to discuss this with you and get a proper design to implement in all the pages.
I think this is also so this is related to what we've been talking about with resolution and the footers as well, and the space between the footer. So I think when we decide what screen resolutions we will support, we're then going to need to just advise on consistent placement of buttons, and spacing. So I think that's something that Jag will be able to take on. Okay, thank you. So do you want to show us the create system admin? Can you hear us, guys? No? Hello? Hello, can you hear us?
You're still there? Kat, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah, we dropped you for a little while there.
So now I have entered all the positive values to the field, and I'm going to click on save button. So the user is created, and we can be able to see it's listed over here. And if we try to edit this by using the existing username, let's see what's actually it's happening.
Thank you.
So we will be able to get the username has been taken already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is one kind of negative validations. And when we try to create a new users, also you can be able to see that we're giving the existing username, even that in that place it is showing that username has been taken already.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all about the creating system admin.
And system admins can see other admins. That's correct, isn't it? So whichever system admin I log in as here,
let me do that as well.
I will be able to see the others and edit the others. Yeah.
Of this.
Yeah. Okay. And then we know that in the next sprint we have some stories, one for site admin, one for system admin, which is all about the error messages for creating the user. So that will be implemented in the next sprint.
Yes, Kat.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. Thank you.
Validation. Yes, validation.
So just log in with that new system admin user which I have created now, and there's an option to again create a system admin from the new system admin created user, and also you can be able to create like site admin as well from this created user.
Yep.
That also we have tested that feature as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let me try to create a site admin for this.
Yeah, it's covering
Oh, yeah.
You want to go through the scenarios first and then cover the demo?
No, we'll just go with what other things are available. So I log in with the system admin role, and I'm going to create a site administrator for one of the institutions, and I enter all the mandatory fields. I'm going to click on a create user button.
Mm-hmm.
It was listed. It has been created successfully and is displaying for that particular under that particular institution the user list.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to confirm. So at this stage, we can create a site admin or a score report user that is associated with an institution. That's where we are now, isn't it? So I open an institution and I can associate a site admin with an institution.
Yes, Kat.
Yeah, got it. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So what? Just for other kind of validation, so I will just log in with that created site admin user role, and we'll check whether the system admin permission is visible for him or not. So if you see, just I log in with that site admin user role, and if you see that I cannot able to see that option for to create a system admin for this particular user.
Right, okay. So we logged in just then as a site admin?
Yes. Now we log on site admin.
Perfect. I've logged in as a site admin. So what happens when I go to manage users?
Yes.
I can see, who can I see? I can see, because I should just see anybody in my institution, right?
Yeah, so actually that we actually added a command for that particular story. So we are not a bit clear on that. Just I will open that command. Kat, if you see this command, particular institution site administrator is user is able to view on other institutions and other institution users.
Yeah, so hang on a minute. Let me make sure I understand this. So site admin is able to edit other institutions and other institutions' users. A site admin is able to edit other users in their institution. They are not able to edit other institutions or users in other institutions. Is that what we're saying here or not?
Yes, Kat.
Perfect. That's the way it should work. So yeah, a site admin only has access to an institution. So they can edit other site admins in that institution, or they can edit score report users in that institution. That's how it should work. Yeah. If that's how it works, we're good.
Currently, it is not working like that, Kat.
Currently, it is not working. Yeah.
Okay, how is it working? I think I went with that last journey you did. I got a little confused about what I was seeing. So how is it working currently?
Currently, a site admin can see all the institutions.
Why? Why? I don't understand why that. Why would that be? Because a site admin is created in an institution. Why would a site admin see all institutions?
That is existing behavior. Making
So at the moment, a site admin is exactly like a system admin, really.
Yes,
they're the same.
But if you see expect, you cannot able to create the other site admin. Sorry, system admin.
Okay, so I had a question actually coming into this meeting today about whether we needed a separate story to join a site admin to an institution. But my conclusion was that we wouldn't, because, for example, when we create a score report user now, we create them in an institution. That user cannot see other institutions, but it should be the same for site admin. I'll add a story, but my assumption was that this is how we would develop it. So if we've developed it so that site admins are sitting above all institutions, then that's not correct.
Kath, if I'm not wrong, a site admin for an institution should be able to see only the users in that particular institution. Am I right?
Yes, exactly that. So site admin in an institution should see the site admins in that institution or the score report users in that institution.
But if that site admin is associated with multiple institutions, so as he logs into that institution, he would be able to see the users of that institution where he logged in. Correct?
If we associated with site admin with multiple institutions, but we don't need to do that. There's no requirement to do it. We always need to have a site admin at institution level, but you wouldn't have a site admin associated with multiple institutions. We have no use case for that. So a site admin created within an institution should only see users within that institution. However, what we're now getting into is where we're going next. which is all about the hierarchy and how the hierarchy works. So I wonder if we should pick this up in the next discussion, because this is when we're starting to talk about departments and programs. You can have site admins that exist at different levels of the hierarchy. So you can have a site admin at institution level, and they can see all users in the institution, but you can also have a site admin at department level. So we're now getting more granular. But the bottom line is, a site admin, like a score report user, just has access to an institution. So as a site admin, I shouldn't be able to see more institutions than the one I'm joined to. So are you saying that we will now need a separate story to do that?
I think we are handling it in the coming story.
Right. This is where I'm getting a little confused, because I'm hearing that we are, and then I'm hearing that we're not. So maybe I need to go in and just do some testing myself, which I can do after this call. How about I do that? I'll go and have a look on QA and walk through it myself.
Sure, Kath.
Okay.
And add your comments.
Sorry, I have a question. So in the story that you are just showing, at the last acceptance criteria, there is a link to Google Docs, which is not working. So about the, I have valid admin credentials. When I sign into SRW, then I can perform tasks as per this document, and there is a link that doesn't.
Yeah, Ola, let me finish.
Yeah,
we know that there's a permissions document, but it's been deleted by somebody, so I've redone one and I put it on Slack.
Okay. I just would like to read about it and also get involved in this discussion.
Of course, it's quite important for the next sprint as well, because in the next sprint we're starting to talk about permissions in much more detail.
Okay.
Okay, so before I accept this story, I'm going to go and do some testing myself today, just so I can see how it's working in the context of an institution. Okay. Thanks, guys.
And then
other things are
and we want to explain about this like content processing rate.
Yeah, hi, Kat. So we have documented so over here you could see we have added four subtasks for this story. So the first point we documented the database structure, and that has been attached along with this story itself. Fine. And then we have analyzed the existing process which is happening between the VUE to SRW sync, and we have documented it. And we've also documented the we have written about the existing approach and the new approach, and we have documented that as well. And one was the one which was like we had to do some thorough debugging in the code. So I showed to Ian that we are not able to get the VUE appointment ID. We are not able to get the fulfillment tag itself, wherein the code is expecting that. So, and we have, I think Ian has sent an email to Jobina as well as Tamika. Sorry, Tamika for better clarification on that. So, so based upon those points, we are planning to close the spike. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. So, Ola, this is another thing for you, I think, to get up to speed on. There are some issues about the fact that we seem to be rejecting some of the products sold notifications. I think you may have seen the thread. And we're trying to find out a bit more from Vue about what they're sending us. There's some sense that actually we're getting that, because there are different within sold products, there are a number of different events: product created, product fulfilled, and product shipped. And we may be getting information on product fulfilled, which is not what we need, because we actually need we need to send a different event. So again, I think this is one that we're just trying to understand a bit more from Vue. It'll be another one for you to get up to speed on. So the team did a spike just to understand what we're currently receiving.
Yeah, I just have a question, because you wrote that you analyzed different things and documented it. Would it be possible to put the links to the documentation that you did inside the story? That would be very helpful.
Yeah, the documentations are uploaded in those subtasks.
Oh, in subtasks. Okay, I will find them. Thank you. All right.
Those are in place. And for the second one alone, the approach, we had an additional point. So the second document which I have uploaded, the latest, that will be the recent you have to refer, so that you'll be able.
Okay, I can see. Okay, so I have just an organizational question. I can see that you are using the docx file type. Would it be possible to just use simple Google Docs, as we are all in person? Is it like possible? Because it's would make things much easier to share that and not upload to Jira just to give a link and.
Sure. I can do that.
And I do not have any application that would enable me to open that.
Okay.
So fine. That would really make things helpful.
Sure.
Thank you.
I can do that.
Thanks.
And Docker Spring. So this was for analyzing the Docker code and preparing the Docker builds. So we were able to analyze. We were facing some issues while putting Docker into build, in this is while deploying via Docker. So we analyzed that and we have resolved that. So in the recent past, we didn't get any new issues related to Docker. So things are smooth. So in that grounds, we are closing this task. This story. Spike.
Sure.
So, question from me. So, did you find Docker helpful? Do you use it, like the developers? Do you use it to deploy? Do you use it on your local machines?
Yeah, we are using it. We are.
Ola, we are using it for only local development purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
For deployment, I think there is a story with the PUA team, PSM team, the US team. They are analyzing on how to take this container and put it into the. Yeah. So that is
sorry,
the story.
You are breaking a little bit. I didn't hear last sentence.
Sorry. So right now we are using Docker in our local deployments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. For what we do is, like, we build a Docker container. Mm-hmm. So the front end will access the Docker container and you will be able to test it.
Mm-hmm.
Now containerizing the Docker container, like putting into dev different environments, that is being analyzed by another team in the US. If I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan.
I see.
Ryan. Yeah, I think the infrastructure team, the new infrastructure team, is doing that.
Okay. Thanks for info.
Sure.
Okay. I think that's everything, isn't it?
And then we have a few stories that has been already accepted by you, Kath. Do you want to review again?
Nope.
Okay.
I need to.
And then we had few tasks for QA side for their self-improvement, right? If we can just probably explain.
Kath, this Jira has been created for our automation framework improvement. The automation framework has been already developed by different teams. So when we came to that framework, we just found that there is no screenshot for running this test scripts, as well as the report was also generating as a something like a log file in JSON. Okay, so we have a plan to add a screenshots in the existing framework for each and every test case for our reference alone, and we have to design a new report for this framework. So we have completed the screenshot task for this existing framework, and we are in progress of doing this report generation. We are planned to do it in a HTML format for a failed because whenever we are running so many more than 50 or 60 test cases, no, that time the report generation will be very helpful for us to look into which are test cases has been failed and which are passed. So doing the report generation is very important for our future sprints. So we are in the progress of doing that HTML report.
Okay, do you guys use, so what framework do you use? Do you use Gherkin or something different?
Are you using Gherkin?
Yeah, we are using a Gherkin language, Cucumber.
Okay. Okay. Alexandra, do you have any questions on this?
No.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you.
That's all for review, Kath and Ola.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So I've just been making some notes. I will do some more testing of the site admin role. Ola will look at some of the issues around our 10 sold product, also the logged in user ID and role, and then just sort of access permissions generally. So what we're talking about with the hierarchy, though I will walk through that next if it's helpful. I also need to look with JAG at screen resolution. We need to provide a bit more information on where buttons, headers, and footers should be placed. And also we'll add an improvement story to the next sprint on the tooltip for the mobile view. So that's what I've captured. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, Kath.
Yes, I also noted down the tasks for myself.
Great stuff. Thank you. So the second half of our meeting, thanks guys for that review. The second half of the meeting is to look at the designs and the stories for the next sprint. So firstly, Kalpana, a question to you. When are we doing planning?
Planning, we can have it on Monday, Kath.
Okay, I didn't see anything in the calendar.
No, I am yet to schedule, Kath. I'll send it right after this.
Okay, that would be great. So let's have a look at the next sprint. I'm afraid you guys have already seen this, but I would just like to catch Alexandra up on a couple of things. So before we go and look at the designs and talk about the stories, I would just like to show Ola something I put together.
Okay.
And you were looking at data modeling. Oh, how's that going?
Yes, Kath. Srivatsan has done a draft version of the data model. Can we have a look at it now?
Yeah, we'll look at the let's actually start with the data model rather than jump into the information that is on hierarchy. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, hi all. So this is the proposed data model from our side. Okay, so like as mentioned by Kath, we have institution. We have different levels. We have an institution level. We have a department level. We have a programs level. Okay, so the institution will have a code, a name, an institution type, and an institution address. Okay, and I'm trying to split this flow into two parts. One is the generic hierarchy flow. That is, we'll first discuss about the hierarchy, and then we'll try to and then in the second part we will discuss about how we can associate the users. Okay,
brilliant. That's perfect. Exactly what we need to do.
So over here you see the code is of type GUID. That's a generic identifier. It is auto-generated at the backend. Name is the name of the institution. institution type is the type of the institution, whether it's a government institution or it's a private institution, or it is as provided in the current current application. So over here, so if I click create institutions,
education.
Yeah, I see an institution type. So this is what this is what is mentioned.
Sorry, I have one question. Institution code, as far as I remember, was not a GUID type. So did it change? Because this is the code that was like sent from Vue, right?
Yeah.
Do I remember correctly?
There's a three-part code. So there's code for department and program. So Vue generate these according to a pattern, and they gave us some information on that, and then we were going to start automating that ourselves so that we would then auto generate those codes.
Yeah, and this is not GUID.
This is not a GUID. I mean, I'm just coming to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry. We'll have this will be 1 minute.
Institution ID.
Yeah. So this will be the field. So we'll have which is going to be this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we have the institution type, as we mentioned over here. And then we have the institution address, as you could see in the application. Fine. So the institution type, I have mentioned it as type of address. So over here, you see in the we have the address entity. So in the address entity, we have the address 1, address 2, address 3, country, city, and zip code. Fine. We had a question over here, like, do we have also counties and states?
We only need, I think, the first line of the address.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have country, city, and zip code. No, they tend to put, I'm just going to jump into the current score reporting website. They tend to put the state into the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that that's a mandatory field, but I'm just going to go and check.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fine. So these are the fields of, is that fine? That's fine. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, give me a second. Country. No, we have country, city, and actually the zip code is not mandatory. So it's only first line of address, the country, and the city. So we don't need the state.
Okay.
And yeah, what you'll usually find is the state will be if it's a US, the state will be named in the name of the department. So it will say something like Utah campus or something like that, Colorado campus.
Okay. Okay. So this about the address. Okay, fine.
Sure. Yeah.
So this from the institution side. So an institution will have a collection.
Yeah.
So let's go into department. So a department will have a department code, name. We see nicknames.
Yeah, we don't. I've actually put that into the requirements for the next sprint. We really don't need nicknames.
Okay.
I think it's a really bizarre thing. So we won't. We're not going to do these for the new site.
Okay. And then we'll have status for the department.
Yep, active, inactive. Yep.
And we'll have a department address. Again, this is the address.
Uh-huh.
Okay. and a department will have a collection of programs. Fine. So it is of type education program. Now let us go into education program. So education program will have the institution code, will have the department code and the program code, followed by the name of the program, level of study, physical address. Yep. I see that in the requirement. Let me take that.
Yeah. I don't think we need. I don't think we need level of study, because we have the name. So I think level of study is not needed actually. It seems like a nice to have field to me.
So we have it. I'm not. Hello?
You guys still there?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I was just asking if we have this or not.
No. I mean, it may be a field in the current site, but I can't see a need for it. So I think that's fine.
Okay. And then in the current site, I see a physical address.
Yes.
And then a field called physical address copied from.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So in the current site, you can actually just say, I'm just going to go and inherit the address that is at the department. It's the same address at the department level. So you have the option just to pull in that address rather than just saving the user time, really. Yeah. Do you have any, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, how complex is it to do it?
Pulling department address into the program. Yep.
So I think what it does is it gives them the option to either add a new address or just copy from the department address. It's quite a nice feature because it means that the user doesn't have to put the address in again. Yep. Is that a particularly difficult thing to do? Do you have any concerns about it?
We don't have any concerns. We can accomplish it.
Okay. So I think we'd keep it, to be honest. I think that's a feature that we would keep. And I've certainly included it in the story.
Yep. But we need those options. I mean, what are the options, right? Because it's a drop-down as in the existing site.
Yeah. So we'd either have, okay, I'll specify what the two options are. So they're either entering a new address or they're copying an existing one.
Fine. And then we have a mailing address. And then we have a mailing address copied from.
Yeah, so what I've put in the current requirements, again, I've put this in the new story, is we only need one address. So we don't need mailing address or mailing address copied from.
Okay. And then we have the status. I see the field called recognizing.
Yeah, so we're not going to worry about that either. Needed?
Okay, it's needed, right?
Not needed.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. And over here, even though they are associated with the institute, we are planning to treat them because they can be added or modified.
Okay, so what are you referring to there? The
departments and the education program, correct?
They
be modified separately, correct?
Yes, correct.
Also, so you are associated with the institution. We plan to treat them as separate entities so that we can be able to associate them better.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So yeah, you may, and I think particularly because you may modify the department, modify the program, and that might be separate, exactly as you say. Also because users can exist at different, you might have users joined to a department or users joined to a program. So I think it does make sense to treat them. Separately. Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, that's my next focus. And before that, I just wanted to let you know, I mean, I would also like Ola to...
Sorry, just one question on that though. you do need to have, so a program will be associated with the department, yes?
Yeah.
You can associate a program with the department.
Yeah.
So what you're not saying is that you would associate a program with an institution and a department with an institution, but you wouldn't associate a department and a program, right? Because you do need association between departments and programs.
Yeah.
So, have I lost? Sorry.
Could you repeat, Kath?
I clearly get it.
Okay, let me just repeat. Let me just repeat what I mean, just so Ola understands too. An institution will have one or more departments, and a department will have one or more programs, but there does need to be an association between a department and a program. So what I don't want is to say we associate a program with an institution and we'd associate a department with an institution, but we don't associate a department and a program. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And just a clarifying question. Programs exist within the departments, so it means that a program cannot exist in two different departments, like the same program.
Exactly. Yes, and they will have unique.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, we have. Okay, fine. Yep. I just want to think about that. Say a program cannot exist with multiple departments. Say you have the. Well, can't there be two engineering colleges?
It's really because you know each. So when you create a department, you create a program within a department. It's unique. They have a unique code. Mm-hmm. And again, it's just the way the hierarchy works. So you may have two campuses at a university, so two departments, and maybe they both run MBA programs, but they will be different programs, and ultimately they'll be managed by different people. And you may have the guys in Campus A running a program who don't get access to the program in Campus B. So we do need to keep that hierarchy of institution, department, program.
Yeah, that is right. If you say, if you take science department, right? So we have a bachelor's program. I mean, a undergraduate program. We have a postgraduate program, correct?
Yep.
So over here, so if you do a bachelor's, that is, if you do an undergraduate, you will be called a Bachelor of Science. So still, that is, if you do a postgraduate, you will be called Masters of Science. Still, you could see they are associated to Science department, correct?
Yep. Have a department with two children.
Yeah.
Two programs. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is what my question was. But well, the same set of program can be offered. Say, imagine department is a college, correct? Imagine department is a college. So the same program can be say I can do an MSc in Oxford. I can also do an MSc in Harvard, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I can do a BSc. I can do an MSc in Beatty College. I can also do an MSc in another college which is associated with Oxford, correct?
Yeah. So then you would have Oxford as a university.
Yeah.
You would have I don't know, Magdalen College as a department, and you would have Worcester College as another department. And then each of those departments would have maybe the same, I don't know, whatever it is, literature or something like that, undergraduate. So each of those colleges would be running the same program, but they are separate. They are run separately.
Yeah.
And the reason is that a lot of universities, particularly big universities, and I live in Oxford, so I see this firsthand. We've got a university there that's very decentralized. So the university has lots of different campuses and they all run themselves. They're almost like a little business on their own. And it's where you've got that decentralized authority that you need to keep it, so that even if you've got different departments who are actually running very similar programs, that they are contained within a department.
Yep, I get it.
Okay.
My apologies for mentioning Bailey College, because a lot of Indians study.
Yeah, at Balliol. Yeah.
Okay.
This is I honestly, I live in Oxford, so I'm surrounded by the university. There are so many colleges. Yeah, Balliol College. That's a very good one.
Yep. Okay. So
Kat, you're echoing.
Am I? Sorry.
Right. So you could see that we are maintaining these 4 fields in all the entities because we want to do audit logging, right? So at any point of time, someone changes an institution, we want to know who modified that record, correct? So it's a good practice to have these 4 fields so that we can do an audit log. Is that fine?
Yeah. So as for now, updated and created dates were stored, right? No users, as far as I remember. Is that correct?
There are no users. I mean, we cannot say that who modified or who created them.
Yeah.
But
a very good idea.
So
I think we need that, right?
In users module also, we don't have any track to find now who updated user details. We can only see modified on date. We cannot see who modified it.
Ola, that's for you.
Sorry, there was a question.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
you're just answering.
Yeah, in users module also, right now we have modified on column, but we don't have modified by. So we won't track who has updated the user details. We can only say when it has updated, but we can't track who has updated it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could see we have maintained this in all the entities. Fine. Because you can distinctly you can modify those records. So that is why we wanted to have audit log in the entities, all the 4 entities, except for the address, because address is just a sub entity. So that is why we have added those 4 fields. Is that fine?
Sure. I just have a simple question, because I can see that the names of the fields that you have in this document, they are a little bit different than the ones inside the source code. So I was just wondering whether you would like to rename all those, or is it just...
I mean, as far as I did see in the source code, we only had, say, for example, for a department, I did see only a code and name and education programs.
Yeah, we have only 3.
Sorry, I can hardly hear when you're talking, the 2 of you at the same time. Could you repeat?
Yeah. So in the code for department, we saw only code, name, and the list of education program. So these fields, we did a reverse engineering and we added.
I see.
Fine.
Yeah, so for example, like I didn't say I have something against. I just would like to understand, because, like, for example, in the institution, there is simply code instead of institution code, or something like that.
Yeah, this is nothing but the code which we provide for the institution. This one.
Yeah, I know. I understand. It's just that the current field names are different. So this is simply code, right? The name of the field is code, not institution code.
Okay. Yeah, we would.
This is just example, just a question whether you would like to rename all those, or this is just for reference.
This is just for reference.
I mean, we plan to rename it. We want this. Yeah. We want this entity set as it is.
Okay.
Because I also went through the repositories. We are not using these fields actively, so That is why we just thought we could have it much more clearer so that we would be able to do it. So can I proceed?
Yeah, sure.
So the next one is the user. So this is where comes all our associations, everything. So these are as per the current existing fields. So we have a user code, we have a first name, we have a last name, we have a username, we have a role. In the current collection, we have something called user scope, which is a collection of string which contains the scope for that particular user.
What does that mean permissions?
Yes.
User scope, yeah. Right.
The scope of their access.
Yeah.
Right now, for site admin, we have user scope as institution, and for system admin, we have as global.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
So probably this would be we would be able to use that if, for example, you wanted to give I don't know, some admin just department level permissions or something like that.
I'm sorry.
So I guess we could use that user scope when there was a requirement to give some user just department level permissions instead of institution level permissions, right?
I think we can do that. Yes. We have another story to tell about this. And then we have a password. Okay. Now over here, you could see we are planning to associate the institutions, departments, and programs to this user because we can add the user to an institution. We can add the user to a department. We can add the user to a program. So at any point of time, either one of these lists can be empty, right? If the user is assigned for a department, we will have only the department code over here, right? If the user is assigned for a program, we will have only the program code over here. So in that case, at any point of time, based upon the level of the user, we will have those respective collections. Okay.
Okay, so I have a question regarding that. So for now, as I can see, the user has an institution assigned to them, right?
Yep.
So actually there is an institution ID within the user entity. And there's a question to Kat, whether there's a requirement to assign a user to multiple institutions.
Yes.
We are saying, so I discussed this with Ian. There's no requirement to assign a user to multiple institutions. So we will only ever have, we won't have that. We'll only have a user for an institution. We should future-proof and build in the ability to assign a user to multiple departments within an institution or multiple programs within a department. But we've said that we'll hide that at front end at first. So we'll keep that one-to-one. But to future-proof, we should build that in. But there is no requirement. We don't have chains, because these institutions are already so expansive and we have multiple campuses, there is no requirement that I know of to have a user that is part of more than one institution.
Okay, then I guess that it can be changed. It will not be a collection of institutions, just an institution ID, right?
Yes.
As it is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only role that has access to multiple institutions is the system admin. There are two other things I wanted to check here. One is that, let me just look at this for a minute. If I am a user joined to the institution, I get access to the departments and programs within that institution. So it's cascading.
Yeah.
If I am a user joined to a department, I get access to the programs, but I don't get access to the whole institution. If I'm a user joined to the programs, well, there's nowhere to go. I can only be joined to a program.
Yeah.
So the permissions would cascade. The other thing I think we should do for best practice is say that we have to have a site admin at institution level. So to me, it would not make sense to join an admin to a department and then not have an admin at the institution level. I think we need to say that there should be a site admin at institution level. Has to be mandatory. You could argue that the system admin can see everybody, so maybe that's okay. But I think we need a site admin at institution level always.
Yep.
Okay.
So over here, I have mentioned a point. So if we add a site admin user to the institution, okay, it will make him accessible for all the entities associated with that institution.
Yeah.
Fine?
That's fine. Yeah, that's exactly how it should work. So if I'm added at the top level of the hierarchy, the top, the institution level, then yeah, I get access to all of the departments and all of the programs. So it's down.
I just would like to clarify one thing. I guess we all know what this is about, but just wanted to be more precise. So in this fifth point, it says now adding a site admin user to the institution. So actually not, it's more like creating site admin in the institution, right? We cannot add a site admin to another institution because, as Kat said, there's now a requirement to have a site admin associated with multiple institutions. So I just wanted to make it clear because I think it implicates changes in the code and in data models. So
yeah, okay. I think this has also come, yeah. So a site admin, to be clear on the use case, a site admin, okay, let's start the beginning. A system admin creates an institution and the system admin creates the first site admin at the top level of that institution. That site admin can then create another site admin at the same level, top level of the institution, or they can create a site admin at department level or at program level. That's how it should work.
Sure.
So, yeah, whatever you think in terms of the data model, I'm not sure. I think what we need to discuss is how users get joined and what that looks like, particularly from a UX perspective. But yeah, there's no requirement to add a site admin to multiple institutions.
Okay.
I have a question really, and it's also a UX question about whether we keep the joining users to entities separate from creating a user, or whether we do it as part of creating a user. Do you see what I mean? That's one of my big questions right now.
Yeah, so right now when you create a user, you create them inside an institution, right?
You do, and when you create, and then, we now need to look at how we create users and add them to departments. So yeah, I have a big question about this generally. Should we keep the creation of a user agnostic of the hierarchy and then have a way of joining them and associating them? I'm not sure.
So then there's a question, what should happen when you create a user and before you assign them to any department?
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So whether they have access to whole institution or to nothing?
That's a good question. In which case it makes sense that we do make this part of the create or edit user flow. So in addition to adding their role, and this is actually how I've written the stories currently, and we'll check in with Jag in a minute on designs, but how I've written the stories currently is it's part of the edit or create user when you add a role, but you also associate them with a department or a program or an institution. Okay. The screen's gone funny. Seeing, I don't know if too many people are sharing.
Oh,
perfect. It's back again. Yeah.
Okay, so fine. So right. So this particular field was added only to identify what are all the institutions which are mapped to a user. Fine.
And we know that there can be only one institution for the user, right?
Then in that case, we need not have this at all, right?
Mm-hmm. Or just an institution ID as it is now.
Okay. So we'll have it only.
And that would be a GUID.
Yeah.
Not a string, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So
this means an institution can have only
one user.
Only one site admin.
One site admin. But can't an institution have multiple score report users?
Yeah.
An institution can also have multiple site admins. There's no problem with that.
But it's the other way around.
Okay. Yep. Correct.
So you can have multiple site admins at any level of the institution. At institution level, at department level, even at program level. You might have admins who are just managing, several admins who are all managing the same program. We need to keep it flexible because we're dealing with so many different kinds of organizations.
Okay.
One admin can associate with one institution only.
Well,
okay.
An institution can have more than one site admin as well.
So that is why over here,
one site admin can't access two institutions.
Can't access two institutions.
But a university having different institutions, no, they have to create each site admin for each institution.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense, guys? Do you want me to explain?
Okay. So our understanding is an institution can have more than one site admin, but one site admin cannot be mapped with more than one institution.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Same is the case with the score report user also, correct?
Yes, it is. So a score report user, so the main difference between site admin and score report user is score report user does not manage users. Score report user does not create users, see other users, edit users. Their main job is to go in and search for score reports. However, a score report user can exist at different levels of the hierarchy too. So you could have a site admin who creates a score report user at institution level, at department level, or at program level. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So yes, we can have score report users at different levels. Ola, the original question I had in my mind was whether we needed to do this at all, because actually score report users don't manage users. So why would we even need to worry about which level of the hierarchy they're at? Particularly now, we are retrieving score reports at for an institution only. We're not having people only retrieve score reports that were allocated to a program. We're saying that anybody within the institution, if that score report has been allocated to the institution, they can retrieve the report. So I was thinking, well, why do we even need to worry about a hierarchy with score report users? Because they're not managing users. But the reason I think is that site admins won't see them. So if we don't join a score report user to a department or a program, then the site admin who created them and can only see the department or program wouldn't see them. So I think we also need the ability to associate a score report user with every level of the hierarchy.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
So that would be a question. Sorry, Arkham again. So that I'm sorry, I would really need to go through the permissions document to have it like cleared up in my mind. But yeah, what you said, I think that's a good reason. And there is also a question. So, for example, when a score report user is created on institution level, then the site administrator created on department level wouldn't have ability to edit that score report user on institution level, right? Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, so then we would need that.
So we've got lots of lovely documents to share with you. We've got permissions I can share, and I can also share. And we have this fantastic data model, and then we also have my little explanation. I've got a little paper trying to explain it all. So we'll throw all of those at you after the call.
Fabulous. Great.
And if I'm not wrong, a user, any user, whether it's a site admin or a score report user, can it be associated with multiple departments?
So Kat said that in the future it should, right?
Yeah. So Ian's recommendation is we would future-proof this. So in the future, we may offer the ability for a site admin or score report user to be joined to multiple departments. But we want to future-proof it. We want that one-to-many to be there and built in. But we're not gonna at the front end. We will only allow one department to be selected, at least in the immediate term. So if there's a way of future-proofing, then we should do that.
So basically, what you would like us to do is to make it like multiple on the backend. Make it possible to assign multiple departments or programs on backend, but on front end just display a single drop down. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, and that should be built into JAG's designs as well. Yeah.
Yep. Fine. I hope then we are okay with the users model.
Yeah, it looks good to me, and I'll.
Yep. Sorry, we were not able to hear you, Kat.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it looks good to me. I'll have a closer look after the call, and I guess Alexandra will too. Guys,
just
give me one. I'm sorry, I'm yet to complete. So over here, for an institution, there could be only one user.
Yes, there could always be only one.
Inside the institution.
Well, hang on a minute.
No.
Why? Wait a minute.
Inside the institution, there can be multiple users, right?
But there can. Yes, my point was there could be one or there could be multiple. So there may just be, you may have an institution that is created and just has one score report user. That's it. Or you may have an institution that has multiple users at every level. All are applicable. So it's one or more. But you could, in theory, have an institution with one user, if that's what you were asking, Ola.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's go into department as well. So in department, you could see we are associating multiple users for a department.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And the same is with the education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it from this side. So the major points which major changes which we are going to do is we are going to add we are going to add some extra fields which are mentioned in the requirement, and as they are going to come in the design documents. We are going to implement audit log. That's the first from our side, and we are going to yeah. So we are going to implement these hierarchies. Fine.
Yes, looks good. So now I now have a question for Kalpana. For the coming sprint, because we're out of time today, so we don't have a chance to look at Jag's designs. So Jag, could you share those designs on Zeppelin?
Yep.
So we can all look at them today. We will have planning on Monday, but I'm aware that I want Ola to have an opportunity to catch up a bit. So I'm wondering, and I have a bunch of stories too, which I'll be looking at against Jag's designs. Would we, in the next sprint, we will need to implement this sort of hierarchy at the back end before we can begin the front end work? Yes, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so how we plan to do is like we will build this view. We'll share this data model with you and Ola first, and then we will build we will use this. We will replicate this on the code. We will share that. We'll share those data models with the front end so that they can carry on with their work of building UI and associating the fields. And in the meanwhile, we'll be building each and every functionality. Is that fine?
Okay. So can I just jump into, can somebody just bring up the backlog on the screen, just quickly? I know that we've got to finish, but I just want to, perfect, thank you. Have you guys been finding Jira really slow?
Not really.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, maybe it's just me. So I have, the ones I've collected at the top are all around departments because I thought that would be a good place to start. And then further down, I've got stories that are around program. So I think I guess I'm just wondering if it is okay to just start with stories on department. And joining users to those departments. So what do you guys feel about that? Is that okay to start there, or would you want to take it all together and take the programs as well?
First, we'll start with department, Kath.
So the way I've got it is okay?
Yes.
Looks
okay.
Fine, right? Okay.
Okay, fine. So what I'll do today, so Alexandra's got a bit of reading to do. I and Alexandra feel free to look and comment on these stories as well. I think I've written the stories exactly as we've discussed them, but I want to see Jag's designs. So just to make sure that my stories reflect those designs and reflect the data model that we've been talking about. So I'll do some more refinement on the stories today, and I'll look at Jag's designs. Hopefully we will be ready on Monday for planning.
Okay, Kath.
Okay, we're a little bit tight this time, I think, because there was quite a lot to look at this week on departments and programs. So I think we're not in as ready state as we could be, but I think we all understand what this hierarchy needs to do. So it's just about making sure we've got all of the detail in the stories and we've got the designs. So I'll look at that today, and then we'll proceed to planning on Monday. And Ola, you'll join us for planning, yes?
Yes, of course. What time will it be? I didn't see an invitation.
There's no invitation.
Okay.
Kath, do you have any preferable timing for Monday?
Look at my calendar.
Just one.
There was some dread. So Ola finishes at 2 p.m. British time, 3 p.m.
2 p.m. Yeah, British 2 p.m.
Yeah, British time, 3 p.m. Central European time. So we therefore, what is that?
Okay, so I have some meetings on one meeting on Monday that I could try to move. The one at 11 my time. I don't know whether that would help.
11?
No, not really. I would need to move this one. Okay. Okay. Would it be okay for 1:30 your time? I will just not attend the meeting that I have. It's another planning for another project, but they will without me.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
is that 1:30 British time?
No, 1:30 is Indian time. I think it would be 9 a.m. your time, Kath.
Yeah, it's
okay.
9 a.m. your time, Kath.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's best for me. I've got a slot between 9 and 10. Actually, 9 till 10:30 I could do.
Okay. Okay, Kath, I'll schedule for 9 to 10:30 then.
Okay, I just cleared my calendar.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Great. So we'll meet again on Monday. Ola, I'll make sure you have everything you need after this meeting.
Okay.
So, and meantime, you'll be able to review all the stories for the current sprint and send us the comments, right, Kath? For closing the sprint?
Yeah, so I think I've only really got one more to look at, which is the site admin.
Yeah, yes, Kath.
And then I've got a couple of improvement stories that I'm adding. So I'll do that today.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is I'll just walk through the stories for the next sprint again myself and look at these against Jag's designs. Yeah, so they're my tasks for today.
Okay, Kath.
Grand. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Kath. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Jag.
Bye.
Sorry about